Excuse me, in one word, what do you love about Providence Place?
Family.
Friends. Wellness.
Art.
Compassion.
Home. Laughter.
No matter what community means to you, you'll find it at Providence Place in Holyoke.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll introduce you to Teachers of Excellence in the Diocese of Springfield. That story is coming up.
I'm Steve Kiltonic at the Pope Francis Preparatory School, where the curtain goes up on Nitwits, a comedy which is the premiere production at the brand new, state-of-the-art Pope Francis Theater.
And Dan Dumas has the latest news from the Diocese of Springfield and beyond. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Today we are focusing on Catholic education and the excellent educators that we have right here in our own Catholic schools. Each year, the Prize Patrol goes out and surprises outstanding teachers who were nominated for the Pioneer Valley Excellence in Teaching Award. Carolee McGrath introduces us now to this year's winners.
We would like to congratulate your teacher, Mrs. Hughes, for a wonderful job.
On an ordinary Tuesday morning, the Diocese of Springfield recognized an extraordinary teacher at St. John the Baptist School in Ludlow, presenting Jennifer Hughes with the Pioneer Valley Excellence in Teaching Award. Mrs. Hughes' kindergarten class couldn't have been more excited for her. School Superintendent Dan Balarjian led what's become known as the Prize Patrol, surprising the teachers with balloons and flowers. The awards, launched by the Harold Grinspoon Foundation in 2002, are given annually to outstanding public and parochial school teachers in Franklin, Hampshire, and Hampden counties. Hughes has been teaching for 14 years. She and her husband have twin teenage girls who also went to St. John's.
Every morning, my assistant, Mrs. Vale, and I come in, and every morning we're like, oh, we love teaching kindergarten so much because it's so the things that we hear every day. We laugh with the kids every single day. We just have so much fun with them. Teaching them how to read is a huge, huge important factor of my job, and I really love being able to teach the little kids how to read.
Your teacher's an award winner. What do you think about that?
The next stop on the Prize Patrol was Miss Patterson's first grade class at St. Stanislaus School in Chicopee. The 24-year-old went to Our Lady of Hope School and later Cathedral High School.
I love being able to share my faith with the kids, which is why I wanted to teach in a Catholic school to begin with. At St. Stan's, everyone's just a big family.
What do you like about Miss Patterson?
She teaches us a lot of math and all kinds of stuff. And reading, she teaches us lots of different kind of books.
She's a good teacher. She helps us a lot, and she loves helping us a lot, and I love her.
Winners receive a $500 cash prize, a scholarship to take graduate courses at local colleges, a 3-month membership to a local Y, in addition to other prizes. Linda Rex, the principal at Mater Dolorosa School in Holyoke, surprised teacher Colleen Forrest in the middle of a breakfast she organized honoring Holyoke's first responders.
Ms. Colleen Forrest has been here. She's been doing math, religion, everything under the sun, National Junior Honor Society Student Council. She's the one that helped with her students put everything together today. And she's the one who decorates and who gets the toys for tots for the police department.
Forrest is the chair of the math department. She says she wants her students to always be grateful for the firefighters and police in their community. What is it about a Catholic school that makes you want to come to school and teach?
It's the children. We feel like a family here. It's been a family environment here for a long time. I enjoy coming to work. The children are great. They're so respectful. It's also giving to the community. We're able to give back. We're able to talk about Jesus and God in class.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
And even the littlest in Catholic schools understand the power of prayer. Kim Kennedy, a preschool teacher at St. Thomas the Apostle School in West Springfield, makes sure they know just how much God loves them.
So, when we make our letter D, what if we start with... I'm sure you know how to make a D, but let's make our big curves here.
The Prize Patrol also awarded her for her outstanding work in the classroom.
So far, they've learned the Hail Mary and the Our Father, and we say a prayer every day. We have a prayer leader who comes up, and we have special intentions that that person wants to pray for, and then we ask around the classroom if there's somebody they want to pray for. So if somebody's sick or if somebody passed away, we do pray for them. And then we, like we said, we talk about when different situations come up in the classroom. We talk about God and how He wants us to behave and act and treat everybody with respect.
Not only do students begin and end their day with prayer, but faith is integrated into every subject. It's perfectly normal for kids to talk about Jesus and read the Bible in history, in English, and even in science.
In Catholic schools, we believe truth exists. We believe God is truth. And so in our science classes, it's not necessarily that we're trying to figure out what the truth is. We're trying to better understand the truth, try to better understand how God put this all together, how God has used science and has used math, and we use our reason to be able to understand that He is there, that there is a God. And then from that point, we can then form our students into a relationship with Him, but to better understand the world.
And to bring Christ's light into the world in all that they do.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Nice job, boys and girls. Thank you.
Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
Congratulations to all of the teachers. Very well-deserved awards for sure. And they will be honored at a banquet along with other recipients later this spring. And speaking of celebrations, joining me now is Dr. Dan Balarjan, Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Diocese of Springfield, who I am sure is very excited to talk about a favorite annual tradition in Catholic schools. Hello, Dr. Balarjan. Thanks for being with us on Reel to Reel today.
Thank you, Sharon. It's my pleasure.
Now, this week, all of the Catholic schools in the diocese marked Catholic Schools Week, and not just here in the diocese, but across the country as well. And they celebrated with a common theme. Can you tell us about it?
Sure. So the National Catholic Education Agency, they roll out a theme every year, and this year's theme is Learn, Lead, Serve, Succeed. And so in Catholic schools all around the country, you have schools that are celebrating these particular elements. They might divide them up in the days. But every school will be doing some service project, and in our diocese as well. Many of our schools have conducted service projects. They've had academic competitions. A lot of them hold their open houses now. So it's a time to really celebrate what's happening in the Catholic schools.
And locally, what are some of the things that you are looking forward to in 2019 for our Catholic schools?
Well, we've been doing a lot of work, and the principals are really fantastic. We've been talking about the mission of the schools. We've been talking about ways to get the message out about the schools. We've been finding ways to open the doors and help families understand how they can access a Catholic education. We've been talking about the demographics of our diocese and how we can better serve the families of our diocese. So all of these conversations, all of this dialogue is really leading to some renewed energy around Catholic schools. And it's fun to see in the schools, and it's fun to be working with this group of administrators in helping to make a Catholic education as accessible as we can.
All right, Dr. Dan Balarjan, Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Diocese of Springfield. Thanks so much, and best of luck to you and all of the students, faculty, and staff throughout the diocese with the second half of the school year.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
And still to come on Reel to Reel, Dan Dumas will have the latest news from the Diocese of Springfield. And Steve Kiltonick takes us backstage for the first performance of the Pope Francis Players in their new theater. These stories and more are still to come on Reel to Reel.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passion's Brother Terrence Gallon, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your busy day and join us Sunday morning. This week we continue our celebration of Catholic Schools Week 2019 and welcome Bishop Mitchell Wazansky as our Mass presider. The Chalice of Salvation, your spiritual connection, Sunday morning at 10, right here on 22 News, WWLP, and coming up next on Fox 23 WXXA.
Excuse me, in one word, what do you love about Providence Place?
Family.
Friends. Wellness.
Art.
Compassion.
Home.
Laughter.
No matter what community means to you, you'll find it at Providence Place in Holyoke.
St. Michael's Academy, where a dynamic curriculum meets enriched learning, where morals are instilled and confidence is boosted, where lasting relationships are nurtured and safety is priority. St. Michael's Academy.
Pope Francis Prep, Our Legacy Reimagined.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel-to-Reel news briefs. Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky has issued a statement on the sexual abuse crisis in the Catholic Church with plans for prayer and dialogue in the Diocese of Springfield. In a January 15, 2019 letter to parishioners, the bishop addressed the renewed concerns facing Catholics in light of the Pennsylvania grand jury report and the Archbishop McCarrick allegations. He pledged a commitment to prayer and dialogue in a fourfold plan. Beginning next week, the diocese will offer regional listening and dialogue sessions attended by the bishop and other diocesan officials in Springfield, Westfield, Pittsfield, and Northampton. The sessions will be held on February 6th at Mary Mother of Hope Church in Springfield from 7 to 8:30 p.m., February 10th at St. Joseph Church in Pittsfield from 6 to 7:30 p.m., March 18th at St. Mary Church in Westfield from 7 to 8:30 p.m., and March 24th at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Church in Northampton from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Also, in the February edition of the Catholic Mirror, the magazine of the Diocese of Springfield, information will be provided on past responses and current procedures. Next, on the first Monday of Lent, March 11th, Bishop Rosansky has asked that all churches in the diocese open their doors for a day of prayer for healing and reconciliation. Prayer cards will be available in each church for the faithful to use when stopping in to offer their own private intentions. And finally, on Sunday, April 7th at 2 p.m., the bishop announced 2 simultaneous prayer services will be held in the diocese. One will take place in Pittsfield at St. Joseph Church and the other in Springfield at St. Michael's Cathedral. In other news, for people who may be contemplating vocations to the priesthood, religious life, or single life, a half-day retreat was held recently at the Franciscan Missionary Sisters of Assisi residence in Holyoke. Nick Morganelli shows us the prayerful environment that is necessary for these life decisions.
Prayer, adoration, witness talks, and time for reflection. Sister Regina Molenga was the principal organizer of this vocations retreat and explains why devoting time to this important decision process is so important.
But they're looking for something deeper than what they have now. So I would encourage them to listen to that inner voice. That's God speaking. And God speaks. He will take you where He wants you to be, come what may. And so I would really encourage them to really spend time every day to just listen to their inner selves. Pray before the Blessed Sacrament. It's powerful. It's so powerful. The Lord speaks. He really talks to the very depth of our being.
Middle-aged, young adults, and even teens were in attendance.
Ever since that
day when I felt it, I can't keep my mind off it. It's like it's always there constantly.
It's all about discernment. It's the deeper perception of obtaining spiritual direction and understanding. And one of the keys to unlocking that is lots of prayer.
For a long time, I don't know, something has tugged me into a life, like religious life. I don't know if it's like single life or being a nun or a sister, but I don't know. I do want to get married and have kids, but if I have to sacrifice it to go into the religious life, I will. It taught me a lot about prayer and how prayer was essential in their journey and all.
Father Sean O'Manion was one of the speakers.
It's good to be able to discern what is good, what is peaceable, what comes from the Holy Spirit, and what does not. As Jesus said, by their fruits you shall know them. Also using my logical mind, what is the likely fruit to come out if I choose to be a married man, if I choose to be a brother in a religious order.
So as we pray for vocations, know that there are those who are seeking, praying, discerning. And their journey, regardless of the destination of where God is calling them, is a blessing. For Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
Thanks, Nick. Friends, family members, parishioners, and members of the community gathered last month to celebrate the retirement of Deacon Gino Medina, one of the original deacons of the first class to be ordained in the Diocese of Springfield 35 years ago. John Thornton has our story.
I just wanted to say this. Somebody once said that to be in church ministry, there's three things you need to be. And tonight, as we celebrate with Deacon Gino and his family, and his wider family, and the family of the church, it's my thought that Deacon Gino has perfected the three things you need to be to minister in the church. And those three are this: be kind, and be kind.
Deacon Gennaro Medina, known by most as Deacon Gino, recently celebrated his retirement in the Hall of St. Anthony of Padua Parish on St. Anthony Street in Chicopee. Deacon Gino had just celebrated his 35th anniversary as a deacon, where he currently serves at Blessed Sacrament Parish. Friend and fellow deacon Pedro Rivera Morin was the host and main organizer of the event.
I've heard he was the first Hispanic in the police. I think he was an auxiliary police, but he was the first, if not the first, one of the first. He worked in community organizations, but he was in the first deacon class in the Diocese of Springfield. And we just, at the deacon recognition program, we just celebrated his 35th anniversary as a deacon. Most of his work as a deacon has been with the Hispanics. And I know I've been involved with the Hispanic ministry for more than 20 years, and I've seen him work, serve in the altar, in the community, in classes, you name it.
The Hall of St. Anthony's was brightly decorated with balloons and streamers as the DJ played traditional Spanish music. The head table at the front of the room was reserved for Deacon Medina's children and grandchildren. Two of his grandchildren were baptized by Deacon Medina, and the eldest was married by him.
He's been a pillar of the Latino community. He's always been there, dedicated to the service, to the people and the church. He is incredibly popular with the entire Latino community and has been for quite some time.
A slideshow was presented showing pictures of Deacon Medina throughout his life, as well as the lives of his children and grandchildren. The title of the slideshow was Deacon Gino Medina, Life, Family, Service. Afterwards, dinner was served, which included traditional Spanish fare. As the evening was coming to an end, Deacon Medina reflected on his ministry.
People is lovely people. They want me, they need me, and I do my best to love them and to serve them. And that church is very busy church. Sometimes I have to baptize 16 kids in the same day. Weddings and quinceañeros and all kind of business. And I'm so happy to doing it. because it's only Father Jose and myself now.
During his retirement, Deacon Medina said he plans to continue to faithfully serve his parish and community. In Chicopee, I'm John Thornton.
Remember to keep informed on all the latest news in the Catholic Church locally and beyond. Log on to iobserve.org. There you can read articles written by our Catholic communication staff, as well as view archived episodes of Real to Real. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Real to Real news briefs.
Finally, Pope Francis High School in Springfield has had a lot of firsts over the last academic year. Back in December, the Pope Francis Players christened their brand new theater on Wendover Road with a remake of a 1960s comedy. The play also marked a milestone for director John Anziano. Steve Kiltonic visited the cast and crew backstage before, as well as on opening night, and tells us more.
On December 13th, snow was falling outside Pope Francis Preparatory School, but inside over 120 people braved the inclement weather to watch the curtain open on The Nitwits, the premiere performance of the Pope Francis Players in their brand new state-of-the-art facility. The historic significance of the night wasn't lost on Pope Francis's longtime director, John Anziano.
I've been waiting 7 years to say this. Welcome to our home.
The last time Pope Francis, then Cathedral High, had a permanent stage of their own was in 2011. In June of that year, a tornado swept through Springfield and surrounding towns, destroying homes, businesses, and damaging the school beyond repair.
We had just finished Beauty and the Beast, and we had actually just bought a brand new sound system that we got to use once before it was ruined.
Some costumes and props were salvaged, but everything else was lost, including set pieces and assorted memorabilia collected over the years. Despite the setback, productions continued nonstop for the next 7 years at 3 venues: Wilbraham Middle School, City Stage, and then Springfield Central High School. For Anziano, students and faculty, the wait was well worth it.
This is by far the nicest theater I've ever been in, never mind just worked in. I can honestly say this is nicer than some Broadway theaters I've seen shows in.
The 500-seat auditorium is one of the most technically advanced theatrical facilities in Western Massachusetts.
I would describe it as state-of-the-art. We have brand new lighting controls, brand new audio controls, all computer operated. We have some wireless controls so we can control the sound remotely from out in the audience and actually be able to hear what it sounds like instead of trying to guess whether or not it sounds good.
Acoustic panels strategically placed around the theater helps magnify the sound.
It's amazing the quality of sound that's in here. I think if we did the show without any electronics, you'd still be able to hear every actor, every word that was spoken on stage.
Over 100 lights are set up throughout the theater. Adjustments can be made from the carpeted catwalk high above the stage. Thousands of sound effects and background music can also be added to scenes at the click of a mouse. The tiered seating, with the audience looking down on the stage, allows for a more intimate experience between the performers and the audience. In addition, there are separate dressing and makeup rooms, a prop and costume room, and tons of storage for set design pieces.
All of those things have come together to allow us more time to actually put into the artistic points of the production.
Anziano said each play is student-run. Everything involved in the production, from lights to sound to makeup to props, is handled by students. This year marks the 40th production Anziano has directed at Pope Francis or Cathedral High School. During this time, he has produced 2 plays each year, despite the school moving 3 times and in 4 different venues. Anziano previously directed The Nitwits a while ago. He was leaning toward a comedy in part because of the makeup of the cast.
I knew the group of actors that I had, especially the seniors coming in this year, were very good at comedy. They had a knack for making people laugh and entertaining them, and they're very good at what you might call improv.
The Nitwits is a remake of a 1960s Glenn Hughes comedy. The plot revolves around a college student, Tommy Winter, who poses as a psychiatrist to make some quick money to fund his education.
Instead of Winter, I'll call myself Summer. Dr. Summer. Got it?
The plan backfires when a group of assorted crazies, or nitwits, show up at his doorstep, leading to chaos and assorted hijinks. Senior Brad Zweer, who's been acting since the 8th grade, was cast in the role of Tommy. It's a role he's well suited for.
I like to joke around. I like to entertain my friends. I'm a clown. I'm also involved in the circus like my brother, and I'm a clown in that too. So I like making people laugh.
Zweer said finally having a theater of their own makes a world of difference for the Pope Francis players.
With this whole new stage and the whole new building, we've been able to work right in the theater that we're going to be performing the whole production.
Zweer's thrilled to be part of history in the making.
It's going to be so cool that we're the first to perform here and that we're starting a whole new legacy for Pope Francis Prep.
Another veteran actor is Seth Mastriani. Backstage, he was transformed into old man T.T. Trumbo, who's
hard of hearing, hard of seeing, and pretty much hard of mind, too, at the same time. He has a hard time pretty much understanding anything anybody's saying, so many of his lines seem out of place, but he's a really fun character to play, and I really enjoyed playing him.
Seth got most of the laughs on opening night.
I think we like to play to an audience, and that's one of the best things you can do in a comedy, and if the actors are having fun, then the audience will too.
Faith remains an important component of the Pope Francis players. Before the opening act, Anziano and the cast gather backstage.
We especially thank you for the beautiful theater which has been built in your honor. We ask that you be with us tonight and keep us calm. Help us remember all of our lines and blocking. We ask that you be with our audience tonight.
In preparation for the play, the cast spent over 2.5 months practicing, 3 to 4 hours a night, 5 to 6 days a week.
The students really look out for one another, they care for one another, they want to see each other succeed. So it really does eventually become like a family.
Even though Anziano has been directing for nearly 2 decades, he still gets butterflies, not necessarily for himself, but for the students.
If a production goes off well, the students are going to remember all the hard work and teamwork that goes into a production and all the life lessons that they've learned that they'll take with them the rest of their lives. So I want to see that part succeed.
All the hard work paid off, and the nitwits went on without a hitch.
Nuts to you! Nuts to you! We may be acting, but we're nuts to you!
For the cast and crew, this performance is one they'll remember long after their days at Pope Francis end. For Reel to Reel, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
Director Anziano told Steve he chooses plays each year with a little help from God. So we'll just have to wait and see what he has in store for this spring's production. Tryouts and practices begin soon. Maybe it'll be a musical. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Remember, you can find updates anytime as well as information and news on the Catholic Church at iobserve.org. We also have updates on our Facebook page daily with news of what our reporters are working on. Check us out and friend us at Catholic Communications. Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Church in Westfield will hold a Holy Hour for Life on Sunday, February 10th from 5 to 7 p.m. This in response to the recent passage of an expansive new abortion law in the state of New York. There will be praise and worship music led by Psalm 33, a speaker, and benediction. Following the Holy Hour, pizza will be served. The youth from the diocese are especially encouraged to attend. See you next time for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.